Hey everybody, it's Jessica Martinez here, and I just want to share with you guys a quick message. I know it's kind of late, so I'm going to try not to stay on a little bit too long. However, I want to share with you guys a message that is always something that seems to come up in conversation with friends, family, and just in general, a question that or a post I see dealing with healing, because everybody deals with healing very differently. And I can honestly say, who has not been hurt, who has not been, let down, who has not been betrayed, abandoned, and so forth. But what helps you to get past that point? Because everybody situation is different. So I see a lot of people post things like, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. And some people are asking like, what do you do? And I had one person ask me, what do you do? And I personally can say in the past, how I dealt with it was literally first come, first serve. So whatever came to mind of how to deal with it, it was that. Whether it was, acting out of character or destroying some stuff, that was me. And it honestly left me in a very outrageous, upset, depressed, sad, melancholy, crazy feeling of not sure of where my emotions are. It just honestly was not healthy at all. Very toxic, not healthy at all. And at the end of it, when I was able to come back and look back at how I handled it, I was not happy with my results because it wasn't truly how I wanted to handle it. I just could not control it. So one of the things I'm going to say, when you are healing, you have to be able to control the emotions. So you have to be able to come to realization, what just happened, expressing how you feel, and being clear cut, clean with it. So when you got to realize, when you get upset with something or a situation or a certain person, you automatically are going to have that rage of, this is how I feel. I must let them know. There's no way you can do this to me. I'm going to let you know exactly how I feel. Taking that moment, in that moment, if you can have that moment. Now, sometimes there's situations where you have to react right then and there, but most of the time it's a reaction where you can take a step back and breathe, analyze it, and come back. The only thing is, when you do speak, and the reason why I say come back is because when you're in that moment, you're not thinking. And words that are like vomit, it comes out and you cannot plug it back in. Once it's out, it's out. So you want to think clearly, what is the situation that's going on? What do I need to do to clarify and get across what I want to say without allowing so much emotion take over more than what I want to be put out? So when you come back, you more have a much clearer head, and you're going to get assertive and concrete, straight to the point of what is going on. The only thing I say is, when you actually go in on explaining yourself, make sure that you are at ease and calm to the point that you can hold a conversation. And you may not get all your point across, but get to the main gist of what you're trying to say, and make sure that you do not back out on your word. Meaning that once you say what you have to say, do not come back weeks later, days later, and say, hey, I didn't mean that, because that is what you meant. That's how you felt. You need to say what you need to say and mean what you need to say. People will respect you more when your delivery is more direct than when you just say something, go back on your word, because it makes it seem like you were just in the moment and you're scattered with your emotions, which is not what you're trying to do. The other thing I want to say in the process of that is, I always tell people, give yourself 3 days. And some people's like, 3 days. Now, depending on what it is, you may have to give yourself some time more. But with situations like with a betrayal of a friend, I would say, let's say a relationship, for instance, ended, and it's a boyfriend-girlfriend kind of thing. I would honestly say you have that moment. And when I say 3 days, depending on, like I said, the circumstances, but you have that moment where you are down, melancholy, sad, hurt, broken. The second day, you're like, okay, I'm hurt and broken, but this is the reality. This is where we're at. This is how I feel. This is what's going to happen. It's kind of giving you that time to kind of just, this is what's going on. The third day, you kind of want to be telling yourself, hey, okay, this is this is what's going on. I need to get myself, back into the role of myself. I'm not saying you should be perfectly happy-go-lucky, going out to the club, hanging with your friends, taking pictures, like, nothing happened. But give yourself that time to heal. But also, the reason why I say don't give yourself more than 3 days is because the longer you continue to stay in that gloom and that sadness and that melancholy and depression, it will overcome you, and sometimes you can't get out of it and you're stuck and you just can't get out. And I know that feeling because I almost borderline got there or maybe was close to there, and it's not a good feeling because sometimes it gets so bad where you may need that therapeutic attention with a psychiatrist. You might need family support. It can get very, like, depending on the level of your brain and how much you can withstand. Everybody cannot withstand the same pain. So staying in that gloom can cause more harm than good. So I always tell people, you don't want to stay there too long, but if you feel like it is something that is very detrimental and you need more time, I would seek out professional help just to have someone there just in case it gets too much to where you yourself can't even get out of. Also, I want to say that healing comes with time. So if you think going on a vacation is going to help, if you think that deleting their pictures, removing their whatever it is, accessories, finding a new boo, just doing all that crazy stuff, posting, all whatever, bashing their name, it's not going to help the situation. It's going to feel good for that moment because honestly, I try to explain to people, the heart is meant to protect. The brain is meant to protect and the heart is meant to feel. So your brain's automatically going to say, you touch this fire, ouch, it's hot, pull away. So your brain's going to tell you, hey, this is not what you need to do. However, your heart's going to say, if you do this, it'll make you feel, maybe this could happen. And I know you see a lot of TikToks where they joke around with stuff like that, but it's honestly true. The brain is there to protect you. So a lot of times people will sit there and follow the heart because that's what they really, really want. And then, they find themselves even getting hurt more. And then sometimes you get into what is currently going on right now, entanglement, that's the new word out, where you're bringing someone else into a mess and you already have a mess yourself, and God forbid if they have a mess. So now you guys have all this mess going on and nothing's been healed on your end. So let's just excuse that person that you just brought in. Nothing's been healed on your end. So it's like you're trying to basically have either them heal and remove that, or you're pretty much trying to use this person to pretty much use, because you really don't really want that person. You just really want that feeling, if that makes any sense. So you don't want to do that. And it's going to hurt because your heart is going to say, if you don't do this, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And like you say, your brain is there to protect you, so to keep you surviving. So it's like, I don't want you to hurt. So, your heart's like, go do that. And, you don't want to feel that pain. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do that. But that is not what you need to do to get over that. And it's going to hurt to get over something or to deal with anything, any type of grief or sadness or anything negative, like something that is taken away or negative. It's always going to hurt because it's like a disadvantage of something, decrease of something. So of course it's going to hurt, but that is part of healing. And when you get ways of step-by-step ways of how to heal and get past this and move forward in a more positive, healthy way, you will be able to step out on a platform on a more confident, positive mindset on how to deal with situations. And like I say, the more you deal with something, the much better you get at. So I always tell people it's kind of like working out. You work out, you kind of tear that muscle. It's sore at first, but then when you go back into the gym, you're doing it more and more. That muscle is building stronger. So you're becoming much stronger to be able to handle more weight. So you're becoming more stronger, not to be able to handle more pain, but you'll be able to be more aware and confident on what it is that you need to do to heal in any situation. And I feel that it took me a while to get to this point where I'm learning that healing is not for the other person, it's more for you. Because when you find healing in yourself, you find peace, you find freedom, you find relief. And honestly, that's no better feeling than anything I can imagine in this world, because when you are in a toxic mindset, sometimes you can miss out on a blessing trying to hold on to something that somebody has done for you. and you tend to get, you tend to be holding on to that anger. Like people are like, oh, I'm done with it, I let it go, I'm good. But deep down inside you're not, because soon as something triggers that reminder of what that person did, you're like, I knew you was a snake, I met someone like that before, I know somebody. And then it's like you're lashing at them and giving them all this old past that they don't even know about. They're like, well, all I did was this. But because in your mind you never healed, it's coming out with 10 times more to the list than what they did. They're confused. They're like, why is she so, or he's so mad? And this is why. And then also one thing I want to say is you're so much worthy of having peace. Letting someone else have a piece of you and overpower you is not even, it's not even worth, it's not worth what they've done. You have to accept that what they did to you is nothing of a reflection of yourself. That was a choice that they decided to do. And until you can come to that conclusion that what they did has nothing to do with you, it's going to be a constant battle with yourself. Like, what did I do or why? And instead of questioning it, is to embrace it and know it happened, accept that it happened, and to use the steps to get past it, and to get, and to not allow it to consume you, but to use it as a power mechanism to know better. I always had this saying, I don't give a crap what you did to me in the past, try it now. Because now I'm healed, because now I'm elevated and leveled to understand that what you did had nothing to do with me. It was something that, happened, that you feel needed to happen this way, and you did this, but this has nothing to do with me. That's something that you personally need to deal with, and praying for them. And honestly, when you can heal, it allows you to receive those blessings that God is trying to send to you. When you are holding on to anger, you are blocking those blessings. So a lot of times I can use examples. Some women will say, I don't do this, I don't mess with these kind of men because I had a man that did this, I had a man that did that. But maybe that let's just say that, or God, let's just say that girl, that woman was not equally yoked and meant for you. So did you pray for that? Did you fast for that? Did you meditate for that? Did you elevate yourself to receive that relationship? Or did you go out on, Twitter, social media, I don't know, and just and bars and stuff like that? Not saying that a bar is a bad place, but just saying that you went somewhere and just chose this person. You wasn't even in your right mind when you met this person. You probably was under the influence, or a friend of a friend of a friend that is not even in the good, in that type of best judgment to be choosing for you, because they can't even keep their woman or they man, you met through them. You got to ask yourself, were you in your right element? Were you elevated? Were you ready to receive? A lot of times we ask and request for things that we're not even ready to receive yet, and then we wonder why it does not work. So you got to ask yourself, if you were not even ready to receive that may be why that did not work. And to use that one example of why all people are like this or why all people are like that is just silly. It's just out. It makes no sense, Okay, so you found one rotten apple, so you're not going to eat no more fruit. That doesn't make any sense. So I feel that if you're going to honestly, forgive, you need to let it go. You need to let it go. I'm not saying that you have to just forget, oh my God, everything just be a blank slate, but you have to be to the point where you can face that person or see that person, or let alone be something triggers and that reminder comes back, and you're not, let's just say, oh, I'm 100% like, oh, it happened, but you are able to still bounce back and balance, either way. And like I said, certain situations and circumstances are different, and some of them take more time, and they may need some therapy. But overall, I know some of the situations that people have talked about with me, and this, overall, a lot of them are very small things that you can get past, but we make them bigger because we consume it, and it allows it to consume us, and it becomes us. It makes us us. You ever met someone, you're like, man, how did they get that way? That is how. And it's unfortunate. I know a lot of people who, let one thing make them become them, and it's sad, because what you still can be, you won't allow it, because you won't allow that emotion weighing you down to, remove it and give yourself that respect to allow yourself to receive what it is that God's trying to send you. And I'm going to share something also with you guys that I read somewhere, and pastor's scripture. He was actually, not scripture, but he was actually speaking about this in an audience with a group of people. And he honestly said, we look at people for value. And I think I spoke on this before, but one of the things I want to say that I felt that really hit me was sometimes we tend to put people at a higher statue, and we say, I can't expect. It's mostly the fact that they let us down, and we're just so shocked that I put you up here and you didn't meet my expectations. And I always tell people, no one's here to be, nobody's slave or controlled. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that person who hurt you may have been giving you every piece of them. That might be as much love as they can give you is what they gave. Because that everyone, like I said, everyone's emotion, everyone's way of thinking is not the same. So some people say, oh, you're so heartless because, they'll see like a puppy or a child that's starving on a show, or they'll watch a movie and they're crying. I'm like, how can you not cry? How can that not hurt your, hurt your, or grab at your heartstrings or make you feel any kind of way? And some people are like, it's just made up, or, it's a puppy. And some people are like, you're so heartless, you're so evil. But sometimes you got to understand that people are all made on different levels. People all have different backgrounds, different religions, different upbringings. And not to give anyone a pass, but you got to understand that everyone is made on a different level. And sometimes you'll meet that person where you have these high expectations for them because you're like, I gave you this much of me and you only gave me this much of you. But that much of them may be in so much of this with you. But because that's just the level that they can give, it looks like it was just that. But they may have been giving you every piece of love and care that they know, that they've been taught. And that's as much as they can give you. And to them, it was this much that they were giving you. And even though our expectations was this high, because that's how much we actually gave, and we actually met our expectations along with our actions, that might be as much as they can give. And that was when I decided to understand that, hey, those people that I had those expectations for, that might have been as much as they can give, because that's all that they have, because we're all made differently. And I'm not giving, like I said, I'm not giving a pass on it, but once I started to understand that the healing process and understand the actual people and things like that, you tend to be like, how can I judge? Because I don't know your every move. I don't know your every, your childhood from now. I don't know all that. And honestly, people are not going to tell you every piece of something. If you find someone that you either grew up with or you know every piece of them and you honestly know every piece of them, then that's amazing. That's great. If you found someone that you can elevate with the same and you guys are equally yoked, that's amazing. That's great. Hold on to them. Them friends and family members, anyone, associates, anyone, prayer group, anyone. It's great. But I just want to share that with you because I feel that someone needed to hear this. I feel like someone needs to share it. It's been on my heart. It was on my mind tonight. I know it's late. Don't want to hold you guys too long, but I just wanted to share that. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I do want to go more into depth with this as years go on, or months rather, or weeks. I'm pretty sure I'll probably get up here again and speak kind of in this same segment, because I do get these questions a lot in my DMs or just in conversations in general. But hey guys, I'm so glad you guys tuned in. I love you guys. And like I said, I'm praying for you guys to stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.